In this episode, we will focus on Saint John Neumann, the first male immigrant in the United States to be canonized a saint. John Neumann was born in 1811 in Bohemia, which is now considered the Czech Republic. As a young boy, John was a great student. He learned 12 languages, and by the age of 20, he was still undecided whether he should pursue law, medicine, or theology. But acting on his mother's advice, he applied to the theological seminary, and immediately he was accepted. When he heard that there was a need for German-speaking priests, John Neumann decided to become a missionary. He headed for America, and after 40 days crossing the Atlantic, John Neumann landed in New York on April 20th, 1836, and he was welcomed into the Diocese of New York. Ordained within a few weeks, he immediately went to work in the rural area, helping the poor and struggling families. Father John Neumann came in contact with members of the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, and eventually he joined the Order of Redemptorists in Pittsburgh, receiving the habit on November 30th, 1840. Father John Neumann had the distinction of being the first Redemptorist to be professed in America. His initial assignment was an assistant rector of St. James Church in Baltimore. 2 years later, he was assigned as the superior of the Redemptorist Foundation in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He ministered to 6,000 German Catholics, visited the sick, heard confessions, preached regularly, and increased attendance in the parish schools. Eventually, he became the 4th bishop of Philadelphia. Within a year, the students increased from 500 to 5,000. After 2 years, the enrollment was 9,000, and St. John Neumann was the first to organize Catholic schools in a unified system under a diocesan board. He introduced the 40 hours devotion that was held at successive churches on a year-round schedule. He brought into his diocese 12 religious orders and founded a new congregation, the Sisters of the Third Order of St. Francis, writing the rule for them that was approved by the Vatican. Other accomplishments include building more than 80 churches. He continued successfully combining the active with the contemplative life. He was very humble, and one day, not feeling well, Father John Neumann left the rectory on an errand of charity when he collapsed on the front steps of a house. He died before help could arrive. It was on January 5th, 1860, when he died. He was laid at rest in the lower church of St. Peter the Apostle on 5th Street and Girard Avenue in Philadelphia. His body was exhumed during the process of beatification, and relics were taken and the remains placed in a waxen image that is found beneath the altar of the crypt. We're able to venerate the relics of St. John Neumann. In proposing a candidate for beatification, the Church requires that 2 miracles be proven, and then after beatification, 2 more miracles must be approved before the candidate is canonized. The first miracle proven was that of Eva Benassi, an 11-year-old girl living in Italy. She was diagnosed with acute diffuse peritonitis, and death was imminent. She woke up the next morning after praying to St. John Neumann, completely cured. The second of his miracles occurred in Philadelphia, July 1949. A 19-year-old boy was in a terrible automobile accident, was crushed between a car and a telephone pole. He was so bad that the doctors didn't even intend to operate. After his parents placed John Neumann's picture on top of James, he was soon released from the hospital, completely recovered. Another young boy by the name of Michael Flanagan, diagnosed with bone cancer which had rapidly spread to his lungs, was fully recovered with no cancer to be found after his parents took Michael to the shrine in Philadelphia. Prayers were offered and a relic was applied to the cancer. His symptoms miraculously disappeared. After accepting this cure as an authentic miracle, Pope Paul VI did not need to find a 4th miracle to declare Bishop Neumann a saint. Saint John Neumann, pray for us.